Yep, we can get started.
All right, good. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar on successful scholarship search strategies. I'm Monica Randall, and I am presenting today along with Jennifer Severini-Krisak. We have a great lineup for you today. And before we get started, if you can just make sure that, things like your phone, anything you have on your desktop is turned off, just so that we can kind of focus on the presentation itself. All right. And also, before we get started, I have with me here today VK Kolati, who is the co-founder of UCEazy, and he's just going to go over and talk about UCEazy, which is sponsoring this webinar. VK?
Hey, Monica. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. As Monica just mentioned, I'm VK, co-founder of UCEazy. Our main vision is to make the universities and colleges admissions easy for all. That's the main vision of our UCEazy. The main reason for us to start this is, Vinny and I had a very successful career in IT industry. Then when we started looking into our college kids admission process, we know how complex this is, and we really want to demystify this admission process for families everywhere by providing access to top quality and easy access to experts and resources. So that's how we started UCEazy. And we offer three kind of solutions. Toolbox, that's actually, it's a family of free web applications which can really help kids process. And we have free educational events like this one. We do have it on like every week. So we have like experts really go through a rigorous interview process to get listed on our union site, and then this series of webinars given by them. And the same experts, it's on union, who can be consulted or online video to get help with all this admission process, and various topic depends on the kid need. Right, so with that, for today's topic, I will hand it off to Monica and Jennifer. Thanks, Monica.
Thank you. Thank you very much. As I mentioned before, my name is Monica Randall, and I am an independent college admissions consultant. And I have to tell you, I'm located on the East Coast, and we're in the middle of quite a storm, so you might hear some things in the background. I am a former vice president for enrollment management, which means that I used to work with students on campus in terms of their admissions, deciding whether or not to admit, deny students, as well as deciding on financial aid and student support services. So now what I do is I work independently with families, helping students figure out how to go through the whole college application process, but primarily helping families and students understand how important it is to find the right fit, finding that right academic, social, and financial balance when it comes to higher education. So that's what I do. So my philosophy is, in working with students and families, is that fitting in is much more important than just getting in, that it's really about how students fit into their future college. And then we have Jennifer. Jennifer, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Severini-Krisak. I am located also on the East Coast. I'm in Pennsylvania. My background is in secondary school counseling. So I was a school counselor for over 20 years. I'm currently an independent counselor at this time, and I have my own private practice here in Pennsylvania. My main experience is working with high school and college students on career and college planning. And I believe that there is a right career and college path for everyone. We just have to work to find it. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we're looking forward to getting on with the webinar.
Thank you. Thanks, Jennifer. All right, so here are some of the main topics, or some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. because I'm sure all of you are here because you're really wondering how you go about finding scholarships. So we're going to give you some tips and talk about where you can find scholarships, give you some tips on how to complete the scholarship application in terms of, making sure that it's complete and putting together your essays, etc. We will give you a list of websites to consider when you're looking at scholarship applications. And of course, we'll talk about some of the scholarship scams that you need to avoid when you're moving through this whole process. So before we start there, let's talk about what a scholarship is. A scholarship it's free money that's given to students for a variety of sources or a variety of reasons. And it's to help you pay for college. And by free money, I mean that it's not like a loan where you have to pay it back. It's money that's given to you for a specific purpose or for a specific reason, of course, to studying in school, but it could be based on a number of different factors. And so here are some of the factors that scholarships are based on. Well, you could get a scholarship based on a merit, okay? So scholarships could be based on how well a student does academically, or if they have some other talent, or if they have some type of athletic ability. Scholarships can also be given on need, although for the most part, a lot of that's kind of like financial aid on a need-based basis, but you can get scholarships that are based on need. And then students can receive scholarships based on other characteristics. So a student can receive a scholarship if they qualify. There are scholarships out there that are gender-based. There could be some for religious reasons, or based on your family history or ethnic background or other specific factors. Another area of scholarships, scholarships can be given to students for majors. So some colleges give out specific scholarships for those who might be studying engineering, or those who might be studying art or drama or something of that nature. And of course, another type of scholarship are college and university scholarships. Colleges and universities, that's really a good place to look for scholarships, because they look at their applicants and decide the amount of money that they give for various purposes, and they have different qualifications as well for that. All right, so where are some places that you go to find scholarships? But before I get to that, something that I think is really key to consider before you even think about launching your scholarship search process, and that is making sure that you plan. It's really important that your student and your students sit down and plan out, not only looking at what characteristics or what you're bringing to the table for a scholarship, but also planning, what scholarships or what areas you're going to dive into. And so think of it kind of like, think of yourself, students, as a business, and that you're actually seeking, quote unquote, investors into your business. And your business, of course, is college admissions, or attending college and getting your degree. But that's really what it's about. It's because you have to put yourself in a positive light so that others who are providing the scholarship they're saying to you, yes, I want to invest in you by providing you with these funds. So it's really important to look at this in terms of that way and to develop a plan. So once you have a plan in place, there are some places you can go to look for outside scholarships. And once again, starting early is really key. And I'll go into that a little later. But check with your high school. And like your high school guidance counselor might have a list of scholarships that he or she knows of. And also think about looking at your local community as well. There are a lot of websites out there and outside sources that offer different types of scholarships. So I would visit those websites. You can also, if you have your college list together, contact the financial aid offices of the colleges you're considering. And the other thing to do is think about contacting the financial aid office should be able to tell you which direction to go to on campus for other types of scholarships that might be offered. Some questions to ask once you have your plan together. So once you kind of know what direction you want to go in terms of scholarships, the type of questions that you want to ask those who are providing scholarships are things like, what are the criteria for receiving those scholarships? You know, what is it that they're going to be looking at to provide you with those scholarships? And also ask, you want to know and understand the grade point average requirements. You know, do you have to have a 3.5 or a 4.0, etc.? Getting information about how to apply. Is it going to be all online? Or is it through some other type of application process? Is there an interview? Because some scholarships require interviews. And also understanding the deadlines, knowing when it's due, and as you plan things out, making sure that you take into consideration those deadlines. A lot of scholarships are they're sticklers about the deadlines, and you want to make sure that you are meeting those deadlines head on. The other thing to consider when you're putting together your plan is knowing whether or not a scholarship is renewable. And if it's renewable, and by that I mean, is this something that you're going to get year after year, or is it something that's a one-time? So say that they give out funding as a freshman, the question is, if it's something that's you can get as a sophomore, junior, and senior, if it is, what are the criteria for maintaining that scholarship? So being very clear about that would be good as well. There are also, you want to look at other outside awards that could affect what the institution may give you. And sometimes that happens. Be aware of the fact that some colleges and universities have policies, and I would ask the financial aid office about their policy on how they handle outside scholarship awards. Okay? So where to search for scholarships? As I mentioned before, doing an internet search is a good way to start. There are various places that you can search on the internet, and I'm going to give you some websites to look at. You can also follow certain folks on social media, because people post scholarships all the time on Facebook or Twitter, and so social media is a good place. I would do a hashtag search on Twitter. You might come up with some. Getting a scholarship book. There are books out there, going to Amazon and looking to see, just doing a search there and finding out what their scholarship books are. Like I said, your high school guidance counselor may in fact keep a list of scholarships that he or she knows of, and of course going to colleges themselves. They may also know what scholarships are offered. And then there are community resources. I think one of the things to keep in mind, and it's really good to look at your local community and take into consideration that those local community resources might be a good thing for you to take a look at. Some other types of resources or scholarship sources, your parents, through their employer, may in fact provide scholarships. So I would talk to them. Local businesses, so businesses that you're very familiar with in your community, may in fact provide scholarships. So the other thing too is organizations that your parents belong to. I mean, I know of alumni organizations or organizations, different types of organizations that your parents may belong to may in fact provide scholarships. So that's one place to consider. Looking at, I mentioned before, websites, and also really looking at your field of study. So that's part of your planning. So if you want to be an engineer, some of those sources may be from looking at engineering associations, etc. If you have a military background or any type of other ethnic background, that might be the direction to go with too. Then of course, if whatever your religious affiliation is, that's always a good place to start as well for looking at these sources. And then your state, whether you're in California or Maryland or Pennsylvania, going on to their higher education website, the state provides a variety of scholarships as well. So it's just a matter of going out there and looking for those. So when to start looking? That question always comes up. When should we start looking for scholarships? And it's never, ever, ever, ever too early to start. And it's not too late either. If you're a rising senior, you could start now as well. It takes time. So if you think about having to sit down and develop your plan for scholarships and then going out there and starting to launch your search, it's going to take some time. So the more time you give yourself, the better. Just because if you think about this, when you're applying to college, you're not only applying to colleges, but if you're going to do a scholarship search, it's also like you're applying for scholarships. So there's really two different application processes, and both of them are going to take some time. I also recommend, even if you're in middle school or sometimes as young as elementary school, you can start looking for scholarships. But the earlier, the better. So what are some of the things that you need for your scholarship application? Well, you'll see that as I go through these, a lot of it should be very familiar, because it's the same things you're going to need for your college applications pretty much. You're going to have to know what your grade point averages are. That's going to be key. Your class rank will probably be thrown in there as well. So having your high school transcript with you, and that will probably be part of your application process, will be to have that high school transcript. Having a list of community and school activities is key. That's why I mentioned before about the whole planning, that you want to make sure you have all of this information together and have your resume together as part of your plan. Sometimes from a financial need standpoint, yes, you need to have some evidence of whether or not you're need-based. Essays are a big part of scholarships, and the reason why they are a big part of your scholarship applications is the fact that so many students tend to apply for various scholarships. So the one thing that can really set you apart, well, the two things that can really set you apart are your essays and your letters of recommendation. So treating your essays and letters of recommendation are highly, highly important when it comes to scholarship applications. Okay, and for more information about how to write an essay, we are having another webinar tomorrow about essay writing, and a lot of the essay writings that you can use from your applications, your college applications, could be applicable to your essays for scholarship applications. So here are some advice on applying for scholarships. I mentioned before applying early, and of course planning ahead as much as you can. Following directions. Please make sure you follow directions. Some scholarships are sticklers about following directions, and of course making sure that you meet those deadlines. So as you plan it out, making sure that if it's due November 1st, that it has to be submitted November 1st. There are ways to make your application stand out. I think the essay is a key way of making your application stand out. And as I mentioned before, it's a very important part of this whole process. So writing a personalized essay, and one that really speaks to you in terms of that scholarship. Make sure you have someone really check your work. Have someone go back through your application and make sure that everything is, spelled correctly and everything's on par. I also recommend keeping copies of everything, and that means, having a folder on your desktop that keeps everything together, and reapply and think about this from a reapplication standpoint. So think about, for those of you who are rising seniors and you may be looking at scholarships, looking forward, you think about too, reapplying next year, etc., or reapplying as you go through this whole process. And once again, I just want to remind you that tomorrow there is a webinar on essays and how to personalize those essays. I'm sure you've heard a lot in the news about scams that are out there, and that's really unfortunate that that's where we live in terms of type of environment that we live in, but there are scholarship scams that are out there. So I just want you to be aware of those and make sure that you avoid those scams. Before I go through this list of potential scams, one piece of advice that I'd like to recommend is to create an email account, like a Gmail account, that will specifically be for scholarships. So it could be, I don't know, monicascholarship@gmail.com. And then that way you can use that email account for any of the scholarships that you apply to. And you'll know that that will be your email account that you use for scholarships and that you look up scholarships, etc. So in terms of avoiding scams, no one should guarantee your money, that you'll receive money. There should be no, because there is no guarantee. So if a company says, we guarantee that you'll receive $10,000, well, that's probably a scam. Anytime someone says you can't get this information from anywhere else, well, there are books out there. And so yes, you can get information from anywhere else. They shouldn't ask you for credit card information or bank card information to hold a scholarship. That clearly is a scam. And the other thing, and I've actually seen this, I just had a student send me an email about this. Anytime it says you've been selected by a national affiliation to receive this scholarship, so they'll use words like national or federal or some other word that you'll think, wow, that must be a scholarship and it must be legitimate. Be very weary of that. Anytime there is some type of word like national, or this is the Federal Scholarship Council or something like that. So be very, very weary of things like that. Some examples of websites. There are so many websites out there. I have some favorites that I use, but these are some well-vetted websites to look for scholarships. And like I said, a number of these sites may require you to create some type of account. So that's why it's important to have that email address in case you do have to create an account. My favorite one on this list is myscholy.com, which is towards the bottom. It's www.myscholy.com. Another one that's not on this list, but if you end up submitting the common application, it will be on the common application as well, and that's ScholarSnap. ScholarSnap, Snap, I think, and I'm not sure if it's .com or .org. You can do a Google on that. I highly recommend that one as well. It is now part of, if you do use the common application to apply to any schools, they'll ask you about ScholarSnap, and you can go ahead and create an account. You can create an account with ScholarSnap even if you're not using the common application. So I highly recommend going on that website because they have a number of resources, and it's a well-vetted website, especially since it's been vetted by the common application.
Actually, Monica, it's scholarsnap.org. I just
Org? Okay,
yes.
Thank you. scholarsnap.org. All right. Thank you, Jennifer.
No problem.
Here are a few more additional websites that you could go out there and look for scholarships. The College Board, of course, that's the place where you do your SATs. They have a website you can go out and look to see. The same with the ACT, the actstudent.org is another website that you can go. So all of these websites are perfect places for you to go and look for scholarships. And we're going to put this up on our website so you can go back and look at these resources as well. All right? Okay. Are there any questions?
I'll give them a minute or two to type some in here. I have one that's always asked, Monica. Do I need to have an A average in order to apply for scholarships?
Oh, so the question is, do you have to be a straight A student to apply to scholarships? No, you don't have to be a straight A student to apply to scholarships. There are scholarships out there for things that you would be amazed at. Certainly, you know, there are the academic scholarships, but there are scholarships that could be for, I don't know, for kids with red hair. And I'm not making that up.
That's true.
There actually are scholarships that are out there. So it's part of, I think that's so key to have a plan so that if you're interested, for example, in a specific major, and going after scholarships that way, you know, that's what you do. But no, you do not have to have straight A's to apply or receive scholarships. Okay, it's a myth.
Okay, let's see if we have any other questions. Don't be afraid.
Yep, feel free to ask questions.
No questions? Really? I think the key thing, the key recommendation is to start early. Well, I actually have two key recommendations: starting early and making sure you have a plan. The earlier the better, and of course, planning things out.
And like we were saying before, I mean, a little here and there, you know, as long as you have a plan, you do a little bit here and there, maybe a couple applications a week or whatever, you know, every little bit helps, and you never know. And a piece of advice that was given to me was, you'll never win a scholarship if you don't try. Yeah. So, you know, that's the thing. I mean, you have to try it, and you're not going to win every one, but if you don't try, you definitely won't win any.
Oh, absolutely. It's a good piece of advice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot, I'm going on my soapbox now, sorry, Monica, but there are a lot out there that, you know, no one applies for, and that money goes to waste. So, you know, try some of those obscure ones maybe that you think, oh, well, you know, I'll never win this or whatever. You never know, because there could be some out there that, you know, no one applies for. I know there was one in particular that I'm aware of that no one had applied for, and it was given to me from someone that wrote actually a scholarship book. She sent me the link, and I sent it to my students. So don't be afraid to try anything. This question, Monica, there's a question here about any information on grants, and is it the same process?
It's the same process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's the exact same process. So scholarships and grants, sometimes those terms are used interchangeably.
The nice thing about them is they're both free money.
Yeah, and by free, we mean you don't have to pay it back, okay? Right. You do have to work for it in some way, meet your time,
right?
Criteria, but yeah. Okay?
Great.
Thank you.
Anything else? That was a great question.
That was a good question. Oh, you're welcome, Rob.
Yep, Rob, thanks. You're welcome. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Gee, I remember the last time we did this, Monica, we had lots of questions. I don't know. We need to get some more in here.
No more questions? Something just popped up.
Something popped up. Let's take a peek here. My son asked if there are any scholarships for game design. I can answer that one.
Oh, go ahead, Jennifer.
There are scholarships for just about every major. A great place to check for that would be, you could go through my Scolly, like Monica said. There's also, actually that's the website, but there's also an app called Scolly, SCHOLLY, about 99 cents. You can get it in the App Store, and you can put in different majors, and it will give you the scholarships for those majors. So that's one place to look. Fastweb.com would be another great place to look.
And the other thing on the game design, Rob, if your son has a school that he's interested in, I would look at that college. And believe it or not, there are some colleges that are actually offering scholarships for those who are, you know, majoring in certain types of areas like game design. So I also look at those colleges that are on his list.
Okay, there's a question here. How much do we charge for financial aid? I'm thinking that they mean through UCEazy. I think the best thing for that person to do would be to contact UCEazy, and you can review the different options that there are out there for working on financial aid with one of our experts. Would that be okay, VK? That sounds like a plan for that one?
Yeah, that's how it should be. And
yeah.
I think probably later, Monica, we have a slide on how to contact.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yep, all that information will be presented toward the very end here. Anything else? Those are good questions. Keep them coming.
All right. Well, as you're thinking, let's move to where you can get more information.
Yep, great.
It seems like that's the direction we're going. You know, we have plenty of information in terms of help at UCEazy. You can schedule time with myself or Jennifer. All you have to do is visit union.uceeazy.com, okay? Or you can email info@uceeazy.com. So if you go on the website, union.uceeazy.com, or email info@uceeazy.com, okay? We'll be happy to help you.
Yeah, like Monica and Jennifer, we have all other experts, and they are the experts in different areas. So yeah, we would strongly recommend you to visit our site.
So here's some recommended next steps. Okay, you have two options I'm going to give you. One is you could schedule an hour consultation, and if you schedule your hour consultation for midnight tomorrow, you will get 30 extra minutes. And once again, visit union.uceeazy.com and then just select initial consultation there. All right. The other option you have, if you're unsure and you need to speak with an expert, we do offer 30-minute get acquainted session, and we'll be happy to get acquainted with you. Once again, just visit union.uceeazy.com and select getting acquainted. All right. Another step too, after scheduling either a 1-hour consultation or your getting acquainted session, is to buy a block of hours with one of our experts. And the one thing that I just wanted to go over with you is just some examples of blocks of hours. All of our blocks of hours are based on your need, based on the student need. So really the student grade and the need, because we really tailor what we do to the student. All right. So these are simply recommended hours for students depending on your grade. So if you have a younger student, middle school age, or a freshman in high school, the recommended hours are 8. 10th graders, we recommend about 10 hours or so, and then 11th graders about 15 hours. And of course, once again, it's going to be specific to your needs, your students' needs. All right? We have a number of free events. If you go on our website, uceeazy.com/events, you can see some webinars. I mentioned that we actually have a webinar tomorrow about essay writing and giving you tips on how to write not only the college essay, but I'm sure those tips will be appropriate for scholarship essays as well, so I highly recommend that. And also, you can invite us to on-site workshops at your workplace. Of course, all of this can be found at uceeazy.com/events, or if you have specific questions, we're at info@uceeazy.com. All right, any other questions?
I think we got everything.
Yeah,
we just had, actually, there was one, and I gave the answer, but maybe you want to elaborate on it a little bit, Monica. Asking if a scholarship would help with, or I'm sorry, whether a portfolio would help with scholarships, game design or art. And my answer was, well, it will depend on whether or not the scholarship application is requesting to have a portfolio. But in general, it's always good to have a sample of your work to show a college. to show, possibly for a scholarship. I mean, you never know when you're going to need to have something like that, even for a job. So it's always good to start developing something like that when you have a particular area that would be suited for that. So I would recommend doing it. I would also recommend checking out the site zeeme.com.
Oh yeah.
It's a it would be like an online portfolio. It's called zeemee.com. You can actually upload samples of your work, different types of things that you've done in there, and then share that website with the colleges or with scholarship people. So that's another little suggestion. Anything else to add to that?
No, I think it was good.
Okay.
I didn't have anything else to add. On your screen, there was a feedback form that popped up. Hopefully you filled that out because your feedback is really important to us. Okay, give us some idea of, what our next step should be in terms of providing you with more information and resources. All right. Seeing no more questions, we want to thank you for joining us today. Taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. And please like us on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/askuceezy, okay? Or follow us on Twitter as well. Or if you have questions, once again, info@uceeazy.com. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great
thank
weekend.
You all. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you all for participating.
Yep. Thank you.